This is Sharp Money with Patrick Meagher and Mike Somich on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
All right, we're back. Sharp Money, Mike Somich. I'm Patrick Meagher. Wherever you find your podcast, of course, VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. And Mike, I'll start here. I'm a selfish person, and you know that. 47-year-old man, single, don't really have a ton going on. But what I don't like to do is give up my Sunday nights. We give up our Sunday nights for Sharp Money for one reason, and that is Detroit at Washington. That was 3 on Sunday. You and we were tripping over each other to bet Detroit laying 3 off a horrible performance against Minnesota. And we're sitting here on Thursday with the number baking, and 8.5. DraftKings is 7.5, but that is literally the reason we jump on Sunday nights.
Yes, it is. Look, and I appreciate you giving up your Sunday nights. I know that's when the good presidential docs all drop late Sunday nights after the NFL game. So
Ken Burns is busy on Sunday nights, Mike. Ken Burns.
We all got our priorities, and you putting this show in front of that, I really do appreciate it. But
Thank you, brother.
4.5, 5.5 point value, pretty good when you're talking about a line, especially when you're going from 3 all the way up to 7.5, 8.5. Spoiler alert, still like the Lions if you want to win.
I saw that.
But the 3 is a little juicier than that current number.
100%. Week 10 buys, and we'll jump into the rotations here. Bengals, Cowboys, Chiefs, and Titans all on buys. So let's jump into it. Of course, tonight, if you're downloading Sharp Money, you've got the Vegas Raiders at Denver in division. We'll get to that in a bit, but we'll start here in Berlin, 251. Atlanta's at Indianapolis I use that in parentheses. I believe our look ahead on Sunday was 7-ish, and now it's dipped to 6.5.
Yeah, we've dropped a little bit here on the look ahead. The look ahead was 7 Colts. The reopen was 7 Colts. We're sitting at 6.5 here. I'm not sure why, Patrick. This is one of those situations where I didn't think we'd get a number under 7 at any point this week, yet we've been holding pretty fast here at 6.5. This is an Atlanta Falcons team that still has issues on the defensive side, missing Diablo in the middle there from a linebacking perspective. He's big in the run stop. And offensively, we've got 2 offensive linemen, 1 doubtful, 1 questionable for this game. And in addition to that, they're not going to get their backup tackle off IR. So you're going to be out 3 linemen on the offensive side, 2 to 3 linemen on the offensive side for the Falcons, as well as a key defensive injury. And then we haven't a chance to talk about the trade deadline.
Yep, we'll mix that in with each game. That's a great point.
I mean, biggest move here, you're adding Sauce Gardner, who has been basically a shutdown cornerback for the Jets. You got to think he's re-energized, flipping from a Jets team that is lucky to have 1 win over to a Colts team that is currently has the best record in the AFC. I like the Colts quite a bit here at 6.5. You also love to bang this Atlanta coaching staff. When you're going overseas, coaching absolutely matters. Huge edge toward the Colts here. I'll lay the 6.5 with the Colts.
Yeah, the donkey, Raheem Morris. So you asked why, and this is a reactionary market. I'll frame the Colts and Falcons this way. The Lions were horrible off a bye against Minnesota. We would all agree. So that means you've eliminated the Lions from Super Bowl contention, correct?
Oh, of course. Yeah, no chance.
Okay, so here's my point about the Colts. Look, we had 8 weeks of tremendous play by Daniel Jones. I am not overreacting from a juiced-up defense there with the Steelers having an all-time game. I will not overreact. It's literally toss it. I'll toss the Chiefs' performance at the Super Bowl that was for the Bills. If anything, I don't like laying on the road like this in Berlin. I do like the total of 48.5. If I were to do anything here, I'd probably go over. The Colts are constantly involved in shootouts, and they don't really beat teams by a margin. So I'd probably do that. Anything else on that one before we get off it?
Drake London. Haven't seen the props yet released for him, but I like his under receiving yards. You're going to see Sauce Gardner travel with him all over the place here. And so if he gets lined anywhere after a big game, target-heavy game with 3 touchdowns, if he gets lined with a big number somewhere in the 60s, I think this is a pretty easy underplay because the Colts secondary ain't great. But adding Sauce Gardner gives them a shutdown on one side, and he traveled with receivers when he was with the Jets. I would expect he does the same thing here with the Colts. I think that makes it a long morning out here on the West Coast for Drake London.
Yeah, and I'll just simply say I love what the Colts did. They gave away 2 first-round draft picks, but when you're a defensive coordinator and you can leave a corner on an island, you can get so exotic with your defense. Sauce Gardner was infected with gangrene. He doesn't have a slip and play at 25 years old. He had a slip and I'm driving to the facility and this sucks. And now he's going to be rejuvenated. Loved it. If not now, when? Colts taking advantage of lightning in a bottle. I loved what they did.
You know who else loved it? Daniel Jones. because he's getting the bag now. That's what that trade tells you more.
Oh, yeah, all in. That's a great point.
You're giving up your first the next 2 years? Good luck getting a quarterback in the draft. That means it's Daniel Jones' season there in Indianapolis, and he's on the Kirk Cousins trajectory, Patrick. Got paid at the Giants, won one playoff game. Now he's about to get the bag there in Indianapolis. We'll see how it goes for them. Look, I understand early returns have been very good. We'll see if we can push that out into multiple years. But Daniel Jones going to be the quarterback of the Colts for years to come because of this trade.
Yeah, I like to say this wasn't a gamble on Sauce. No. This was a gamble on Daniel Jones.
Correct.
That's a tremendous point. 253, Cleveland at the Jets. On the other side, they traded away their two best players, Quinnen Williams up front and Sauce Gardner. And so we have seen a reaction in the market with Cleveland now laying 2.5.
Yeah, the reaction in the market is correct because there is no way in the world you could tell me Williams and Gardner are worth 4 points to the line. Yet here we are, whereas so Jets a 1.5 point favorite. Now we flipped over to 2.5 point favorite with the Browns. Everything numbers-wise tells me I should be betting the Jets here. If I get a 3, sign me up for the Jets. We have not seen that pop. If it does come up, I will be on the Jets. But the issue for me with backing the Jets this week is the mentality of the locker room. It's not just losing those pieces on defense, but what's your expectation for this game for a player on the Jets with the front office basically saying our season's over, we're moving on from these guys, we're going to go into rebuild mode here. It's hard for me to get excited about backing the Jets, even with a atrocious offense on the other side in Cleveland. So if we get a Jets +3, I'll be banging the Jets there. If we don't, I'm just going to pass this game.
Yeah, I don't know how you react to this game. If anything, I'd be on Cleveland because of what you said. In the locker room, we now know we've given up on the season. Even Williams' brother, who's a linebacker for the Jets, was benched, and he's a former All-Pro. So vibes might be weird, but you never know if you're going to get a jolt of, hey, so much has changed. So I just totally stay away. So many unknowns. 255. New Orleans is at Carolina. Rashid Shaheed on his way to Seattle. Seattle's a freaking wagon. Seattle is a wagon, but similar philosophy. They're trading off. New Orleans has been impressive this year. Don't worry about the record. And they're at Carolina. I think it's a respectful number to New Orleans at 5.5.
It is. I mean, it's Shuck's second game in the NFL here. I thought he was fine for his first game. Didn't blow me away, but he wasn't absolutely inept out there either. So I think you have at least a not a huge downgrade at the quarterback position when we're going from Rattler to Shuck there, which is a good thing to see. This is another one where, like, at 5.5, we're kind of in this dead zone where, you know, if you told me it was 4.5, 4, I'm probably looking at Carolina. If you told me it's 6.5, I'm looking at New Orleans. But you're not getting any type of key number around that 5.5. To me, if you like this game, you're looking at alts, right? You buy down New Orleans to 3.5. You hope they cover the 3.5 and get plus money for it. Or you buy up the Panthers side to 6.5, and you get a better price than the 5.5 there. This is a pass for me, but I do think this is an interesting game if you have an opinion to be able to move that line and get a better price.
That's a good point. And as pesky as the Saints have been, they haven't covered in 4. The one thing I would say about Carolina is Dowdle didn't practice yesterday, and he's legit. So maybe he plays, but we don't know with the quad if he's going to be 100%. So remember to check in on these injuries. Sometimes you'll hear about them right before games start. Buffalo 257's at your Dolphins. I think we were 8.5 on Sunday here on Sharp Money, and we're all the way up to 9.5. Penny is at 10 with Buffalo Lane.
Yeah, look ahead 8.5, reopen 8.5, and it's been all Bills money into the market. Move through the teaser numbers. We talked about teasing this Buffalo team on Sunday. That's out of the possibility now because of where we are sitting with this line. I gotta say, like, before we go into the actual game, the Dolphins are inept as an organization. I mean,
why? Why would you say that?
You look around and, like, the Patriots are now going to be good. The Bills are already good. The Jets did an awesome job at the trade deadline. They go out and they get 2 first-rounders this year, 3 next year, and they keep all the offensive pieces. So you still got Hall, you still got Wilson on the outside, you've got 2 first-round offensive linemen there. You're quarterback ready, and then you can build up the defense. The Dolphins are like, you know what? We'll give up Phillips here, but we'll take a third back, and then we're going to keep everybody else. Have absolutely no plan moving forward. You get reports at the deadline of teams calling the Dolphins and being like, they're confused. I don't even know what they want. After talking to them, wonder why they fired their GM 4 days ago.
I was going to say, who are they talking to?
I mean, what are we doing? Like, if you're going to fire Greer, I like firing Greer. Don't get me wrong. He is a big part of the problem with this Dolphins organization. Maybe do it 2 weeks before the trade deadline. Maybe 3, maybe have some plan, some semblance of a plan of how to make this team good again. All right, Randover. On the game, look, the Bills own the Dolphins. I agree with the move here to 9.5. I can't bet them now, though. This is one of those situations where, like, it was a good teaser at 8.5. If I'm going to take a side, it would be Buffalo in this spot. But at 9.5, I'm going to pass on this one and just watch my Dolphins go down in flames.
I think they seem competent.
Yeah. Really well run.
It's like doing a podcast without hearing audio. Yeah. Calling with no GM. I got nothing. I could just be Buffalo. Maybe I don't expect them to be flat, but coming off the Kansas City win, so I don't really want to do anything with this game. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
That's a big part of it. You're not sure what, like, you're going to get a decent Buffalo effort because it's in division, but, like, going down to Miami has been a bugaboo for a lot of teams, and this is a Bills team off a huge win with Kansas City. They're as high as they've been rated in the market all year long, so those are all issues that you got to kind of keep an eye on. One thing I'm going to look for, it's not out yet, James Cook's rush prop is sitting at 85.5. He should absolutely roll over this Dolphins team, but we don't know how much of Cook we're going to get depending on the game script. DraftKings will release a first quarter number once we get closer to the game. Keep an eye on that first quarter rush yards for Cook. If it's sitting around that 15.5 number, that's an over for me.
Hey, speaking of injuries, sign up for the VSiN newsletter, vsin.com/newsletter. There's no obligation. You just enter your email address. Coming up on Sunday, you'll probably get a good update on where the injuries, where the weather, free picks. So again, no obligation. Go to vsin.com/newsletter. Enter your email address. Next up is Jacksonville at Houston. Davis Mills in for Houston. And so we have an adjustment here, Mike. Jacksonville is now a 1.5 favorite.
Yeah, mess of a Jacksonville team when you look at the wide receiver position as well. Travis Hunter going to be out for a long term. They make a move, add Meyers at the deadline to try and shore up that wide receiver position. We've seen this Trevor Lawrence and Brian Thomas Jr. thing get worse, not better, as the year has gone along. This Houston defense is going to create all kinds of problems here for Jacksonville. I like Houston as a teaser. You can take them up to 7.5 if you find that Houston plus 1.5 in market. And I like the Jaguars team total under here, 19.5. This is a defense that is going to be able to create pressure. They're going to limit the wide receivers on the outside, which means this is all about Jacksonville's run game. Houston's been good against the run, too. They still have all the pieces on defense, and Trevor Lawrence at 3rd and long when facing that pass rush is going to be an absolute problem. Give me under 19.5 team total here for the Jaguars.
Yeah, if anything, I like Houston here. You mentioned it, probably, maybe the best defense in football.
They are.
Having a sleepy year as far as the offense and the team. Jacksonville probably should have lost to the Raiders. That's what I would say. So why would I against this defense, why would I trust this offense? So I would probably go Houston there. In fact, not probably, I would. 261. Baltimore's at Minnesota. Minnesota coming off a huge in-division win, and we know where Baltimore is. It is just literally all or nothing at this point. They're up to 4, and it's 48.5 on the total.
Yeah, market's been fascinating in this game, Patrick, because it got as high as 4.5. There were some 5s that popped. It has been all, and I mean all, Vikings money since we saw that 4.5, 5 in the market yesterday. We're down to 3.5 now on DraftKings. This moved from 4.5 this morning to 3.5 in the last 2 hours. So we've seen a lot of Minnesota money come in. And I don't necessarily disagree with it. I think this is the hardest game of the week to be able to set an accurate line for. We talked about Baltimore on Sunday's podcast. I was wildly unimpressed with them against the Dolphins. Miami was the better team in the first half of that football game and just was unable to finish drives and unable to finish both offensively and defensively. Like, they had 3rd downs. They couldn't get off the field on the defensive side. They were moving the ball consistently against Baltimore's defense and just shooting themselves in the foot when they got down close to the end zone. So I'm not like rushing to upgrade Baltimore a ton off of the injury off the injured players that returned. And you look at Minnesota, and it's like, look, if their offense is good, if J.J. McCarthy is able to get through his reads and progress quickly and get the ball out, this is a very competent offense. But what do you believe? The McCarthy we saw last game with that finishing throw to Naylor that was very good on the outside to ice it against your Lions? Or is it the McCarthy that we saw for 3 weeks early in the season really struggle? I passed on this one, but it would never be Baltimore. It would be Vikings or pass. And I was staring at that 4.5. I just didn't click the button.
Yeah, if anything, I do. 49 seems a little rich as far as, so I'd probably go under here. I thought Minnesota's defense was awesome against the Lions, 5 sacks on Goff. And Baltimore's healthy. It's not a great defense, but they're healthy on defense. So I would probably go under the 49 there. 263. New England's at Tampa Bay, and this is going to be one of my plays. And I apologize to our producer Michael, who's a big Patriot fan. This is step up in competition with Tampa coming off a bye. New England hasn't lost 6 straight. but the competition hasn't been there. The schedule's weak. Tampa getting a little healthier here, not completely healthy. I think 2.5 short. I like the Bucs.
Yeah, the health part was the reason I have not bet this game, Patrick. This is one I had circled coming into this week. I'm like, I want to see the injury report on Wednesday for Tampa. I want to see Godwin practicing. I want to see Irvin practicing. No Bucky Irving, no Chris Godwin, both of them completely out off the bye. That is never a good sign. I want a fully healthy offense here for Tampa, especially on the run side, because this is a Patriots defense, and you can only play what's in front of you. They haven't allowed a 50-yard rusher yet this year. And with Rachaad White back there, I am uninspired by the Bucs running game. Bucky Irving makes a huge difference for this team. He is also very good out of the backfield from a catching perspective. He would be a matchup nightmare for the slower linebackers that New England has as well. But when you take him out, I just have too many question marks here with Tampa sitting at this 2.5 number. If the injury report changes, if we get Godwin, if we get Irving, give me the Bucs. If not, this is a pass for me.
Yeah, they're just, like I said, they're getting a little healthier, but those are the two big question marks. But I still just think 2.5 is a little short on a team that should be rested coming off that bye. The Giants are at Chicago, 265. I think we have jumped up. It's 4.5. It's blanketed everywhere, 4.5 with Chicago laying it, but I think it was a little shorter on Sunday night.
It was, yeah. So this is one of those that we have seen a little bit of move in the market. The look ahead here was Bears -3. It reopened in the market with Chicago laying anywhere from 3.5 to 4 in some places. We got a 5 now over at BetMGM. We've got 4.5s across the board everywhere else. If you like the Bears, 4.5 at -105 at FanDuel, the best number available right now. Bears are getting a lot of love, and they were not good against Cincinnati. Like, that was a very, very fortunate win for a Bears team that seems like they've been stringing together wins that are slightly fortunate here. And you flip around and you look at the other side, a Giants team that can consistently move the football with Jackson Dart at quarterback. This, to me, is an over game, and I'm surprised we're getting under money into the market here. This Giants defense is not good. The defensive line, really the one piece that you can count on, but the Bears have been very good in scripted plays, very good at scoring early. That forces these totals to go over when you have scoring on the board early versus a defensive-style game plan. And without Scadaboo, the running game for the Giants just not that great. I realize you don't have a bunch of weapons on the outside, but Dart's ability to run and move around facing a bad Bears defense here, it screams points to me. I'll take the over 46.5. I'm surprised under money has come in since this weekend.
I do like the over as well. Chicago's won 5 of 6. Now, the Giants, they haven't covered in the last 2, and they haven't been all that close. If I were to lay it, I'd lay it with the Chicago Bears, but I do like the total, and I like it to go over as well. 267 Arizona's at Seattle. We just talked about Seattle adding Rashid Shaheed, so you got JSN. He's pretty good. Horton, the rookie, is tremendous, and now you add a speedster that's just going to go. Awesome. Love this team. They're 6.5 hosting Arizona. However, you got to be careful with Arizona. Kyler Murray caught some sort of flu, and he's on the IR because obviously Jacoby Brissett, the offense is not just more efficient, it's more explosive.
Yeah, I was joking. J.J. McCarthy and Kyler Murray have the same doctor, right? These foot injuries, they linger when you got that guy. It's about 1 to 2 weeks, all of a sudden 4 to 6. Now we're on the IR. I love the Shaheed deal. I don't think people are talking enough about what Shaheed can bring to this offense. Kubiak had him down in New Orleans, and when New Orleans was the best offense anyone had ever seen through 2 weeks, Shaheed was a big reason because of it last year. He was able to get deep, consistently open, and you look at what you're going to insert into this Seattle offense now. You have JSN, who is going to get rolled coverage, going to get double coverage. He's been getting it all year, still been able to perform. Now on the other side, you have someone who can take the top off, right? And Cooper Kupp and Torrey Horton, they can't take the top off like Rashid Shaheed can on a defense. It's going to open up the opposite side of the field. You're going to get 1, 2, 3 shots a game to Shaheed deep. And it also makes life easier for A.J. Barner and for Elijah Arroyo over the middle as tight ends. It also means that you can't roll your safeties into the boxes easily because you have that deep threat. That should make the run game move better. Seattle is just phenomenally constructed on the offensive side. If Sam Darnold pulls the strings, this is a very good offense moving forward. Seattle also owns Arizona. I mean, absolutely owns them. We talked about this the first time these two teams played. Seattle won and covered in that game. Seattle's going to win and cover again here. Get your 6.5s now while you can. We've got a 120 over at DraftKings in the market. We've got 114 at Caesars, 115 at FanDuel. I don't think these 6.5s make it to game time, so give me Seattle minus 6.5.
Yeah, it's a Super Bowl team. I mean, they're doing all this without the cornerbacks, too. And then they got special teams involved last time out. It's a great team. It's a really good team. I would bet Seattle as well. Now, Detroit's at Washington, 269. So, again, we reset 3 on Sunday night. It was 3.5, so you could find a 3. And then now it's up to 8.5. Now, DraftKings is still 7.5 with Detroit. A couple of things. Washington is in a very bad way. Not just the quarterback with the dislocated elbow. They're injured literally everywhere. I don't know how the linebackers who are slow are going to stop these 2 running backs, and there's going to be a concerted effort on the Lions' part to run the football. They didn't run it against Minnesota. They're 0-3 when Gibbs and Montgomery don't combine for over 100 yards. They're just going to pound the effing football against Washington.
Well, and if it doesn't work, you know what will? Attacking a crappy secondary.
No, terrible secondary.
Terrible secondary. I almost dropped one there. Was able to pull it back. This is a bad defense for Washington. No Terry McLaurin on the outside. No Jaden Daniels. The running back room is a mess. Bill has not been what everyone was hoping for at that position either. Oh, by the way, I think Detroit's going to be slightly pissed off for this game, Patrick. I mean, Dan Campbell's going to have them ready to run through an absolute wall. The offensive line is going to be put on notice after their performance against Minnesota and how they handled the blitz there. This is Lions all day for me. We've got the 3 in the account. I rebetted at 7.5. I've got the Lions in a bunch of teasers. I love the Lions this week.
We talk about spots. This might be the spot of the year.
Yeah.
Washington dealing with so much. There's such a come down. And Detroit in the worst in division, getting absolutely handled off a bye to Minnesota. They are going to be in the worst possible mood. Shout to Abraham Lincoln in our capital's country, in our country's capital. They're going to be freaking pissed. It's going to be a freaking civil war.
Is that the doc that's dropping this Sunday? You missing the Abe Lincoln drop for the podcast?
If you want to get educated, just hit me up.
Love Detroit first half too. This is like, again, with the narrative-based idea that this is going to be a Detroit team that comes out with their hair on fire. If that's the case, they blow the doors off the Commanders in the first half.
The Rams, along with Seattle, to me, you could argue 2 best teams in the NFC. Sorry. 271 Rams at San Francisco. It's up to 4.5. I think it was 3.5 on Sunday.
You're getting high on those West Coast vibes, aren't you?
The Rams are do you understand that I think Stafford's 24-2 touchdown pick ratio.
He's pretty good. Right now, top 4 choice in the MVP.
Not bad.
You've got Devontae Adams. That's worked out. Puka Nacua needs to stay healthy. Just to, I'm not calling myself a great football mind here. Not anywhere near Sean McVay's level. Just a pro tip. No more end-arounds with Puka Nacua. He doesn't need to be running the football. Just keep him healthy because that's a big part of your team moving forward here. Yeah, our look ahead here was Rams -3. The 49ers injury report is like just an enigma wrapped up in a maze that's hidden in a Rubik's Cube that needs to be solved to bust it out first because I have no clue what is going on with Ricky Pearsall. I have no idea when Brock Purdy is eventually going to play. I don't know if we're going to see Ayuk this year. It's getting just messier and messier over there from a reporting perspective because it's just like, well, when are they going to be back? And it's, we'll see. Like, I'll let you know in a week. And it's still missing all of those pieces. On the other side, this defense they're so banged up, man. I mean, we've talked about Bosa. We've talked about Warner. They lost another piece last week in their rookie run stopper, Walker. Like, this is just a defense that cannot catch any break and can't rush the passer. And when you can't rush the passer, Stafford lights you up. I like Devontae Adams anytime touchdown here in this spot. For everything that Puka Nacua is getting, Devontae Adams is the one that's getting all of these red zone targets. You're still able to get him plus money every single week to be able to score a touchdown. This week there's a plus 100 out there, so give me Devontae Adams to get in the end zone here. It'd be Rams or pass for me. I didn't bet the 3. It's hard for me to chase down the 4.5.
Yeah, I can't. It's hard to lay in division, especially when Shanahan owns McVay. But just big picture, I do love the Rams moving forward. I got nothing on that game. I do have something on 273, which is Sunday night. Pittsburgh at the Chargers. Pittsburgh's definitely my least favorite team in the NFL, and that's why I'm going to take the 3 with Pittsburgh against the Chargers team. Look, the Alt injury, we've incessantly talked about the importance of him to that offense. He's done for the year along with Slater. That is, like, when you lose your left tackle and your right tackle, and both are not good, great players, hard. If Pittsburgh's defensive effort carries over, I got them winning outright on the field on Sunday night.
Yeah, one of the rare times we're going to have a Steelers home game in Los Angeles as well.
Oh, yeah.
This is going to be Sunday night game, primetime game. Everybody from Pittsburgh is going to be in there. It's going to be a heavy Steelers crowd in there in Los Angeles taking on the Chargers. This is another one where I didn't get the 4.5. and I didn't play the 3.5 when it was sitting there. Now it's sitting at 3, and I'm kind of kicking myself. It is Steelers or pass. At this point, I would actually go Steelers money line. We did see the Chargers make a move in week to add a tackle here. Yeah, we'll see how much that actually helps. I mean, Joe Alt's a little bit better than who we're adding here. And this is an offensive line that you mentioned it, already missing Slater. They've been banged up all year. If they lose anybody on that offensive line, it's an absolute problem. And the Steelers defense, after, let's just be honest, they sucked the first half of this year.
Yep.
Last week they woke up, and that defensive line specifically woke up, created the Colts all kinds of trouble with their offensive line that's elite, and now you're taking on, a bottom 10 unit here with the Chargers when you're missing both your tackles. It's hard to say there's any way this game's going to go except for Pittsburgh causing all kinds of trouble here for the Chargers. It would be, before the Chargers, it would be Chargers or it would be Steelers or pass for me. I do like the under here, 45.5. I think the Steelers defense is going to be able to create havoc against Herbert, but he's not someone who's going to turn it over 6 times. And this offense for the Pittsburgh side still not very good. You've still got a good defense over there in Los Angeles. So give me under 45.5 here.
Yeah, I don't hate that. I do love the 3 with the Steelers. Then Monday night, I love this over. Philadelphia at Green Bay, 44.5. Green Bay's laying 2.5 everywhere. And I think that's come down a tick. Green Bay they have to clean up their offensive inefficiencies in the red zone, but also just get tighter. And I think the new pieces that Philadelphia has added might take a little bit here. Philly's going to score against this Green Bay defense, who gets better as the game goes on, specifically the fourth quarter. But I expect points and points and points on Monday night. 44.5, I'm going over.
This is a banger of a football game. I can't wait to watch this football game. I have very little interest in betting this football game. This is a Packers team that I have been the resident homer at VSiN for. They didn't punt last week, and they lost the football game 16-13. Okay, it's like the mental mistakes and the inability for them to finish drives has been a problem all year long. Even if you look back at the Browns game they lost, you only had 10 points with 4 minutes left and then fell apart at the end of that game. It took a blocked field goal and a pick from Love and all these things to happen, but they play with their food too much. And when you play with your food, sometimes it bites back, and it's happened to them twice now this year. They can't play with Philadelphia. They have to come out and show up for 60 minutes, be efficient on the offensive side. The fact that you lost Tucker Kraft last week is a huge loss. The look ahead here was 3. The reopen was a kind of 2.75. You could get an expensive 3 with Philly or a cheap 2.5 with the Packers. We're sitting painted 2.5 now. I can't bet this game. Like, it's one of those where, like, if we saw a cheap money line for Green Bay, I'd be there. If we saw a 3 for Philly, I'd be there. Neither of those exist in the market. I doubt you'll find either of those when we kick off. So for me, it's a tough one to look at. I do think not enough respect being thrown Luke Musgrave's way, the backup tight end for the Packers here. He's going to take over for Kraft. And at one point last season, he was the better of the 2 tight ends, and he kind of got pushed to the back because of the loss of Kraft. I think Musgrave's interesting from a prop perspective. He is listed at... Well, he's not listed right now. So he's not showing up there. They've got his longest reception, but they don't have his reception yards up. I think Musgrave's an interesting one to look to the over. It should be somewhere in the 30th-ish range. And if that's the case, this tight end position for the Packers is important. And Musgrave is very much good enough to be able to fill in and be a part of this offense.
Yeah, Tucker Kraft, big miss. He was becoming a star, and he's done for the year. That's a good point. Okay, we end every Thursday edition of Sharp Money with the Thursday night game, and that is the Vegas Raiders at Denver. Interesting game here. First off, just pull up the Brock Bowers numbers because I don't know the adjustment if they get. Geno is literally just and remember they just traded away your boy. Why is his name slipping my mind? Their number 1 receiver, Jakobi Meyers went to Jacksonville. So Bowers, who's healthy, more of an option. Now the number's interesting because Pinnacle's 10, and then FanDuel's 8.5. So a very sharp book is 10 on Denver, and then a public book like FanDuel's 8.5 on Denver.
Yeah, I guess I'm more public than sharp then, because I took a little 10.5 with the Raiders when it was out in the market. If you can go to Pinnacle, get the 10. I don't mind the Raiders plus the 10 points. I don't trust this Denver offense. It's really that simple for me. Bo Nix has not been good this year. I'm not just going to jump into the situation here where I think Bo Nix all of a sudden going to turn over a new leaf and be great like he was in the second half of last year. And Brock Bowers means the world to this offense for the Denver Broncos. With him healthy and for the Las Vegas Raiders. With him healthy and in the offense, Brock Bowers is dominant. I mean, we saw last week with the separation he was able to consistently get, how he's a third down target here, how he's able to help Geno move the chains. All of those things exist when he's in the lineup. When he's out, this is a mess of a team. And so I don't mind losing Jakobi Meyers as long as Brock Bowers is the one who is out there. I think Trey Tucker is going to get upgraded here in this spot from just a pass catching perspective. He gets to take over as the number one, and there really isn't a number two. I mean, Brock Bowers and Michael Mayer are the other two main targets here for the Las Vegas Raiders. So I'll take the 10 here. I have the 10.5 in the account. If you can find a 10, to me, that's where you want to look on the Raiders. No interest laying double digits with the Broncos.
Yeah, I agree. I like the 10 in division. I know it sounds crazy to bet the Raiders at this point, but 10 seems crazy to me on a short week. Denver, they are -1. They are -1 in totality, quarters 1 through 3 this year. They are +60 in the fourth quarter. That's insane.
If you took out that Giants win, which would have been very easy to take out. First time in 1,602 times a team has come back from down 3 possessions with sub 6 minutes left. So that's record-breaking stuff. And then the 13 points last week, or 11 points last week in the fourth quarter to be able to beat Houston. We would think of this Denver team very differently. Pittsburgh was the number one fraudulent team on my list. Denver is like sitting right there at number 2 for me. I don't trust this team at all. Now, is this Raiders offense going to be the one that can take advantage of Surtain not being out there? No, they are not. But they will have success with Brock Bowers. By the way, Brock Bowers 69.5 over at FanDuel. There was a 60.5 in market last night. If you want to look around, there's some 62.5s out there. I think FanDuel actually, I think DraftKings actually market high right now at that 69.5 number. So he's going to get peppered with targets. To me,
without Jakobi Meyers, his targets are going to go up 2, 3.
Yep, and you just take the over on him if you don't want to play the Raiders, because in the game state where they're down 10, guess what? Bowers is going for more than 70 yards in this game because he's going to get his here in this spot. So I like the Bowers overs if that's the direction you want to go, but I like the 10 with the Raiders.
But I will say this about the Broncos, and I agree with everything you said about them. Those old school unis are clean. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. About as clean as it gets. Let's just keep it that way.
The Terrell Davis era, Denver Broncos, Elway Davis, Shannon Sharp, those blues with the orange helmets.
Just leave it alone.
Yeah.
Just don't complicate things.
No, you don't need to go to the Manning ones with the new, diverse lines and all the different curves and everything.
Yeah, when we got to the mid-'90s, early 2000s, we were struggling with fashion.
It was tough.
We were struggling. All right, Mike, that's it. So week 10. I said it, and I'll stand on it. I think Seattle, and they're in division, but I think the Rams and Seattle right now are two teams that are just building, and especially a younger defense, the Rams, and they added a piece trade deadline cornerback. Those two teams are the two that I'm keeping an eye on right now.
Yeah, it's been interesting to watch the Super Bowl market. So Bills and Chiefs still your favorites, plus 600, plus 650 respectively. Rams are now the third choice on the board, plus 800. Seahawks right now are the 8th choice on the board, but only plus 1,100. There's 8 teams that are all 11-1 or less right now. Feels like a wide open year. I do power ratings every week, Patrick. And one of the biggest struggles I have is how to price out the Colts and the Seahawks as Super Bowl contenders. And the simple reason is, how much do you trust Daniel Jones? How much do you trust Sam Darnold? In a game-by-game situation during the regular season, I actually trust them 8.5, 9 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm good.
We get down to the playoffs. I'm not so sure I'm at that 8.5, 9 level. I'm more of the 6.5, 7. We saw Darnold Pumpkin last year. Do you think because of this defense, when he had a good one last year in Minnesota, do you think he is good enough to be able to make a run through the NFC?
Who are you asking me about?
Darnold.
Darnold? Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, we come full circle on this podcast. I said I'm selfish, so on Sunday nights, I don't like to give them up for sharp money, but we do because we're friends. But I have trust issues, and that's why I'm single. But I don't have trust issues with Sam Darnold, and I don't have trust issues with Daniel Jones. The overreaction to one bad performance when we had seen 8 not good, great performances to me is just too reactionary.
Yeah, well, I mean, that week to week wise, I trust them implicitly. I think you're going to consistently see good or more good than bad performances, right? I think you're going to see upper echelon. By the way, Sam Darnold now graded out as the top quarterback in the NFL.
Darnold's an MVP. Darnold he hasn't made a mistake.
Okay, so this is the other question. I got an argument about this. I don't think he can win MVP.
I'm not saying. I'm saying he is playing at that level.
He is, yeah. I just don't think he doesn't get the credit, right? Like if you go through the credit list in Seattle, number 1 is JSN. Number 2 is the defense. Number 3
coach.
is the coaching staff. Darnold's like 4, right? Like you have to go pretty far down before he gets credit for what Seattle's doing.
Watch him under pressure. He's a badass. He doesn't flinch, and that's what I want from a quarterback that's feeling himself. It's like, I've got a million guys in my face. He's a big kid. He's playing exquisite ball. And I was talking about it on Mad Dog Sports Radio when he was coming out of college. I said he's going to be great. I didn't think it was going to take 8 years. It's
fascinating to listen to people on the beat writers with the Seahawks this year and the beat writers with the Jets when he came out.
Different person.
He was talked about being this nice guy, didn't get in people's faces, was quiet and confident. You hear Seattle beat writers talk about him. He's got a little bit of the asshole going now.
Yeah, you got to be an asshole.
He's getting up in people's faces. He's yelling at them, telling them they're in the wrong spot. It's more outward confidence, and you need that as a quarterback. Every single NFL quarterback that's been great, none of them are the quiet guy that kind of sits in the corner and just does their job. Even Tom Brady, who people thought, he had some serious...
He was a douche.
Right? Like, he got into people's faces.
He was a douche.
It's interesting to see Darnold, part of this transformation is the feeling that he has that confidence to be able to go up to teammates and scream at them. The trust tree is completely safe. I do trust him. And again, listen, it's really, when you're talking Jones, he's being remote controlled by Steichen, and Steichen is a hell of an offensive mind. He, to me, is like a Ben Johnson as far as his dance with how he's calling plays. I have no problems with either quarterback. All right, one more trust tree question before we go. Since we're doing quarterback trust falls here, would you let Drake May catch you? Where is he on the trust tree? Because he is now the third choice in the MVP market at plus 400. Are you trusting Drake May in those big spots this early in his career?
Drake has an obsession with taking sacks and also dropping the football and throwing just erratic interception all in one game and then somehow playing brilliantly. I'm not at a place where I'm not at a place where I fully trust him, because he is such a mild-mannered person, but on the field, he's a freaking psychopath.
He throws one of the best deep balls in football.
He's a remarkably talented dude.
When you look at EPA, which is a stat which is added points are expected right off of a specific play, he is top 5 in the NFL at quarterback at EPA. But he's taking more sacks, which are EPA killers. But because his deep ball is so good, because he can scramble, he's able to make up for these mistakes that he's making. His long-term development, if he learns how to stop taking sacks, holding on to the football, he's going to be a perennial MVP candidate. I'm just worried it might be a little too soon. Maybe a little bit too soon.
And think about it this. He's probably got bottom third skill around him.
Yes.
Wait till he gets... wait till... If he... Jamar Chase, if he just randomly ended up with the page, I'm just giving that as an example, what would this kid be doing? But the trust right now, watch how different May plays next year.
Okay, can I throw one more at you?
Yeah, let's go.
Are we sure Joe Burrow's good?
Oh my God, this podcast is over, dude.
Come on, Joe.
This podcast is over.
Starts lighting everybody up with those two receivers.
No, Joe Burrow is indeed not good. He's great. And a good buddy of mine who's a big Jets fan thinks that they're acquiring all these picks to potentially go try to get Burrow. He's unhappy in Cincinnati.
That's one route. The Jets stay the path, man. They did a great job.
They tried to throw crap with Favre. They tried to throw crap with Rodgers. They tried this route before where you just throw crap at crap. Just rip it to the studs, dummies.
Be bad again next year. You've got 2 first-rounders. You've got 3 and 27, which is projected to be an all-time
great class. Yes.
Just be bad again next year. Take your medicine. Come out the other side with a wide receiver 1, which you already have, 2 awesome offensive linemen, which you already have, and build around that. You know who else did that? Your Detroit Lions. They're building in a very similar manner to how Detroit Lions built their franchise. Just don't go and donk it off for an older quarterback right now if you're the Jets.
That's a very sound way to end the podcast. what you want to do is emulate the Detroit Lions.
Hey, it never fails, right?
Forget the Patriots' dynastic run. You don't understand what Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell are doing in Detroit, and I agree with Mike there. Mike, enjoy the games. Good luck to you. I'll see you Sunday night. I'll be fresh as a daisy.
Sounds good, Patrick.
All right, we'll see you next time. VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. This is Sharp Money.